Welcome to Cosmic Kickback. My name is Josh. With me is my co-host Nick. This is the Galaxy's favorite talk show. We do movies.
We do reviews, talk about TV shows. Sometimes we talk about music.
Sometimes pop culture stuff, just whatever's happening. It's been a while since we've recorded an episode, Nick. Do you want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, this past month was crazy. April and May, early May, are always kind of our very busiest months, and that's when we kind of have dips in content just because of finals.
Yeah.
Josh and I are both students. We're both filmmakers now. Josh just finished his directorial debut.
Bro, that was the directorial debut, the writing debut, the editor debut, the acting debut, and
you acted in it too.
And the producing debut, bro. I literally did everything, bro. I did a little bit of everything on that.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, dude. Oh my god. It was really cool. The most stressful part about it was like the due date. Like if I didn't have a due date, I feel like it would just be way more fun. But I feel like that's, you always got to have a due date for something, you know what I mean? Like even real filmmakers, like the studios are like, hey bro, like y'all got this much time, like lock the fuck in.
I know. It's crazy.
But anyway.
Yeah, this semester I had a documentary that I was working on, and that finished up in early May too. Mm-hmm. I'm working on getting that put out on YouTube somewhere. So maybe, we can share our projects in the description if y'all want to watch them. But
that'd be cool. Yeah, I'm working on doing the same. I have like a rough edit that because I told Nick right before we started, I stayed up like straight up for like 24 hours straight, just straight editing. Like I'm not even fucking joking. Like I was up, no sleep. And then I went and I showed this film to my class. And I had to do that because I had issues of equipment, so I couldn't film one weekend, so it got pushed back, and I had not much time. But anyway, that first edit is like it's good enough to like show a coherent piece, but I did want like a few more tweaks that I would have done if I had a little bit more time. That I left out. So I'm actually going to finish that. I'm going to add in my little like edits because I'm like a perfectionist, like I want, I'm like, oh dude, like I need to have this.
I'm the same way.
Yeah. So I'm going to add in a little more, do a little tweaks to the edit. And then once that's good, then I'll post that on YouTube.
Okay.
You know the vibe. Anyway, Nick, what are we talking about on this first episode back?
This first episode back, we actually got a fun movie. We talked about this when we did the most anticipated for this year.
I think you said this was your most anticipated.
It was one of them. It was not my most.
I remember we had a question at the end and we were like, oh.
Yeah, this could not have been my most, bro. My most anticipated for sure. And I think it was for both of us. It was Deadpool. But this one was highly up there.
Okay. Well,
we're talking about Roadhouse.
Yeah, the Jake Gyllenhaal, Conor McGregor film.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Is this Conor McGregor's like acting debut?
Dude, he has to have been in other shit. I got my computer. Let me see. I don't think I've seen him in anything else though.
I don't think I have either.
Yeah, it's his only movie.
Oh, it's his only movie? Okay. That makes sense because dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay, so I have some thoughts about this film. Nick, you haven't seen the original Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
So I saw that about like a month and a half ago because I knew I was going to watch Roadhouse and I was like, you know what, let me watch the OG so I know what it's about. And I actually didn't even know what it was about because based on the clips I had seen from this Jake Gyllenhaal one online, I thought it was going to be more about like UFC.
Yeah.
Because that one scene where he was a UFC fighter. They actually filmed that at an actual UFC.
Yeah.
I remember seeing people like were there and they were like, what the fuck is that Jake Gyllenhaal? And like they're like, oh shit, like that's pretty cool. Like that's like that's so cool to do it during an actual UFC event. So
that's
I was
really
like,
smart.
It is,
it saves money.
It
like
does.
I think they've done that for like films where it revolves around a concert. They'll just go to like an actual concert, maybe film for 30 minutes and then like they get out. But if it's like a really raw and like powerful energy, like it's the most authentic you can get.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I liked how they did that. And so, but because of that, my only knowledge of Roadhouse was that. So I was like, oh, is this going to be like a fighting film? Like, that's cool. But the OG one has nothing to do with UFC at all. He wasn't even a past UFC fighter. It's legit. The other, there's changes, but it's basically the same thing. It's about a guy who gets hired to go to some other bar, like a roadhouse, and clean it up, and the city's kind of the first one has more to do with like the city is corrupt itself, whereas this one is more like there's like some rich people that are corrupt in a nice city.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, I saw the OG, so I'll compare it to that a little bit.
It came out in 89, right?
Yeah, 89.
Okay. And it's got Swayze. I haven't seen a lot of movies from him, but he is a pretty good actor. I didn't even know that he passed away in like early 2000s, I think, from pancreatic cancer.
Damn, no way you didn't know.
But yeah, rest in peace to Swayze. True. We're gonna be comparing these two.
Nick, I think we should just go full spoilers because this has been out for a bit, and even then, it was not released in theaters. This went straight to Prime.
Yeah, I actually wanted to speak on that because I looked up a little tidbit of information. So it turns out that Amazon approached the filmmakers and Jake Gyllenhaal, and they said that they could have given them two choices. And of course, they took the latter half. They could have given them a $60 million budget, and it could have been released in theaters. Would have got like a full theatrical release and everything, like runtime. Or they could have got $85 million, so like a $25 million like increase in budget, but it would just go straight to streaming. And they chose the latter one. I'm not sure why. Maybe to help, I guess, pay the different actors and shit. Like I said, Conor McGregor's in this. They went to a UFC arena and filmed there. I'm not really sure of the business, but I feel like this movie would have maybe done better if it was like in a theater, because there's a lot of like funny and like cheesy moments. Like the movie definitely is aware and it leans into those moments, but I don't know. It's just like one of those weird movies that's like big and like it's got like a big name star, Jake Gyllenhaal, but it just goes straight to streaming, so it can fly under people's radars.
So you're saying that they could have had it go to theaters, but they chose to get more money for the budget and then have it go to streaming.
Yeah, they could have taken a budget cut and got it. I guess they would have used that money to distribute it.
Yeah,
but they took more. I don't know why they did
crazy
that. Because
like you would think. Okay, so I'm already gonna like talk about a couple things that I think are kind of whack. So you would think that increase in budget would cause what I'm about to complain about not to happen. But I don't know if you noticed this. There's a couple parts in this film with some really bad CGI, like some really bad visual effects. Did you see that? Yes. Like the truck part stood out to me really bad.
Yeah, the part, it's a really small part, but when Conor McGregor, it's in the final act, he's like pulling up to the boat and then like Jake blows it up and you see him like riding past, like, I don't know, maybe it was just me, but I was like, dude, it does not look like he's riding that boat. Like it just looked bad. But yeah, there were some moments where I was like, what the fuck?
There's a couple, like it's weird. It's not that it looks like, it's so weird. It's like it moves unnaturally. Like it moves too fast. There's a couple, like there's a part where they almost run off Jake Gyllenhaal's character off the road. They try and run him over.
Dude, that part's fucking crazy. He's literally just walking home and they fucking try to run him off the road.
That shit's crazy. And it just looks so weird because the truck moves unnaturally fast, but then it stops, and then Jake Gyllenhaal just like lands perfectly in the truck bed. It looks so visually, I don't know, like I was going to give that like a little bit of a pass because I was like, well, this went straight to streaming, so I guess they had to do what they could. But now that I'm hearing that they got more money, I'm like, well, what the fuck? Like, where did the money go? Like, was this just to get Conor on, bro? Like, did they blow it all on that UFC shot? And that's the thing. That UFC shot, we don't even really see that whole scene in its entirety. It's kind of like edited throughout the film, and it's like little flashbacks. But I don't know. I would have loved to see that shot in its entirety, because when we do see it, I feel like what we see could have just been filmed in a fucking studio. Like I don't even get the vibe that like it's actually shot at like a live UFC event. There's like one giant extreme wide shot where you see the whole crowd, but besides that, there's just like you see like the walkout scene of Jake Gyllenhaal's character walking, and then it cuts, and then that's the end of that. And then later on we see a shot in the octagon. But it's like close, like it's like a pretty close shot, so I can't even see anything past the cage. So like that could have easily been filmed in a studio. So like I don't know, like I feel like that scene, seeing it online, like when they actually filmed it, was for me more exciting than seeing the actual finished product. Like I was like, damn, that's all they used it for. Like I wanted to see more.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
agree with you. It is crazy because if they got more budget, you think that I don't know. Sometimes more money in a movie can make it is a good or a bad thing. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe in this case it was bad because it is sprinkled out throughout the movie. Like Jake Gyllenhaal, he has I guess PTSD from killing his friend in the ring, and he ends up living on a boat, which I think is kind of cool. By the way, I mean, bro, it's every guy's dream to live on a boat, man. Come on, just admit it. But he has these boat dreams, and that's how we kind of get the backstory of that he killed his friend. But it's already kind of implied. But yeah, I don't know where the rest of that money went. Maybe it went to actors or just like the third act, because the third act is pretty crazy with like boat crashes, explosions. They pretty much fuck up the bar.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking to the original, Josh, I don't know
Yeah.
much. I do know that the setting of this one is different. The original Roadhouse, I think, takes place in like Missouri or like Utah or something.
It's some like it does give me more. It's definitely not a beach
It's like
side
a country,
city.
right? Country.
It's kind of Midwest. It's basically the same concept. Like it's they have the cage covering the bar or the band because the people get rowdy and like throw glass and stuff, and it's to protect the band. I will say one thing, and this is like for some reason this was a trend I think in like the 80s for like any movie that was rated R, and maybe even some that were fucking PG-13, bro. But this movie the original has so much nudity. Like it's actually insane. Like the amount of titties you're gonna see in that is like wild.
Oh, and the OG.
The OG, dude, there's legit a scene like this scene does absolutely nothing. There's a scene in the I didn't say the original was like it's better than this one, but I also didn't say it was amazing. I think I gave the original like a 3.5 out of 5. So like around no, I gave it a 3. I think it's like a 6 to me. Like it's kind of cheesy, and I feel like a lot of the nudity was like just like what is going on. So, but that's like the 80s, I guess. They were like, oh, like let's pull out some titties, bro. Like because what happened, there's a scene where it's weird because it happens like right at like the climax, basically like right after, right before it, around that same time. So everything's kind of like, it's been rising and rising. It's like, oh shit, what's about to happen? They're about to fight because like they're at the bar and the villains are there too, and you're like, oh shit, what's about to happen? And like the main bad guy has like a girlfriend who he brought to the bar with him, and out of nowhere she just like they're trying to tell the guy to get out. Like they're like, oh, like you got to get out of here, man. Like to the bad guy, and then he's just like, what do you mean? Like we just came here to have a good time. Like, and he's just like, ain't that right, like honey? And then she's like, yeah. And he's like, why don't you go like have some fun, go dance? And then she gets up, and I thought like that was gonna be it. Like she was just gonna leave the scene, and we were gonna like have the characters like have some dialogue. But then everybody just sits and watches this girl get up and start dancing. But she's just a customer, but for some reason she just does an entire striptease routine where at the end like she's like legit she's like teasing that she's gonna take off her top, and I was like, what is going on? And then she literally pulls them out, and then she's just like, it's legit like I'm watching a stripper, like on God. And it's just on the entire, it's like a 5-minute sequence, and the band is like playing some sensual music to it, and then Patrick Swayze goes up and like takes her off the stage, like he's like, all right, like put those titties away, and then he takes her down, and then the scene continues, like it goes right back to tension. So I was like, what is going on, bro? So
he's like, anyways,
yeah, that's dead ass what happens. So I think that's kind of like a product of its time kind of thing, because there's so many movies back then where they just throw some titties in, like it's actually insane if you look into it. So I will say this movie doesn't have as much of that. I think there's the only nudity we really get is Conor McGregor.
Oh my God!
Like when he,
I would have rather had some. I'd rather have some titties than Conor McGregor's cheeks, bro.
When he pulls up, he's fully nude, and I see. So I don't really understand the relation that he has to the main bad guy. I thought he was going to be the main bad guy.
I don't even get the fucking main bad guy's like plot, bro. Like I get his dad's in jail. I'm assuming he wants to build like a hotel on the beachfront of where the roadhouse is, but like
Yeah,
it's
like a
never made
resort.
clear, bro. And the main villain is such a dipshit. Like,
Yeah, the main villain isn't intimidating at all. Like he's, I feel like
oh my
if Jake
god.
Gyllenhaal's character and him got in a fight, like it would be over real
Yeah.
quick. Like that
Yeah.
guy. See, the thing is in the original, there was a dad, and the dad wasn't in jail. He was like there. He was kind of like the money, the rich, the brains.
Hmm.
And then he had a son, and his son was kind of a dipshit in the first one. But the thing is he was also like a good fighter. So there's a scene when Patrick Swayze and him get like in like a hardcore fight near the end, and Patrick Swayze ends up killing him like in a fight. Um, so like it's like a pretty intense scene. But in this one, like the son, like I don't know, it's just like they took out the dad, which he was like the intimidating part, and then they made the son a dipshit, but they took away his fighting in this one. So I was kind of like, okay, like I don't really see the point in doing that. Maybe so it's like less busy, like there's less characters. Like I don't know, but I felt like my main problem with this film, and it's weird because like I think it actually starts off pretty interesting. I think in the first like hour of this movie, because it's like a 2 hour movie, so like the first half of this film, I actually think it's pretty good. It's a little corny here and there. I mean, there's some parts that are have like a cheesy line where like, there's one villain, or like a not villain. He's a bad guy, but he's kind of like a minion, you know, like one of the people working for the big guys, and he just like likes Jake Gyllenhaal's character. Like at one point, like they're trashing the place. He's like, oh hey man, he's like, good to see you. Like he's just cool to
Yeah.
him. I thought that was kind of funny. Like at first I was like, what's going on? But it happens like 3 or 4 times. So I was just like, all right, this guy's chill. Like it's kind of funny. Um, but I don't know. I was gonna say I feel like the movie kind of loses. At least for me, it felt like it loses its legs like halfway through. And because like for me, the second half, although there was a lot of like action, I just felt like I was like ready for it to end. And like it felt like after the first hour it was like, okay, it's time for the third act. But it felt like they like really wanted to make 2 hours, so they just made the action sequences like extra long, and they added in like extra stuff that wasn't needed. Like there's a part where that for some reason the cop is like dirty, so he's like giving money to them. I don't know if you know where that money's coming from, but then Jake Gyllenhaal like stops it mid whatever. Then he takes the money, and then that I feel like that was kind of unneeded. He could have just like gone and met with them. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like I think it starts off pretty strong, but maybe because they had to like shoehorn McGregor in, like I don't know if that was part of the deal. Like you use our UFC arena, like then you got to use one of our fighters in your movie because he gets a lot of screen time. McGregor's character.
Yeah, he doesn't show up for like a while though. Like
Yeah,
I was like, when is he gonna pull up? Because I knew he was in it.
yeah, yeah. I don't know.
What'd you think of
I also,
McGregor's performance?
dude, I didn't even know he was acting, bro. I thought he just pulled up. I
He
thought he
kind
just
of
came
just
on
played
that.
himself. Like it feels like.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'll give him a pass because like he does have some really entertaining scenes and shit. And if this is his first like movie acting in, I get it's hard to kind of step away from like yourself and just be a character. They don't really give him much to work with. Like he's kind of just an insane asshole.
Yeah.
But I think for the most part he was entertaining, and I like the final fight between him and Jake Gyllenhaal. I will say that's a positive of the movie. I think some of the action sequences are pretty good, not all of them, but it steps away from that very like choppy, quick editing. It's more like one take. We get a lot of the 360 cameras kind of like whooshing around characters and stuff. I found that to be entertaining, and I'm not sure if it was all one take or if there was cuts, but I respect that because I know it's hard to choreograph and kind of set up one take shots. So if they really did go through the effort to do that, then I commend them for that because it did really work for me.
There's a the top review on Letterbox is Conor McGregor try to act challenge impossible. That's kind of funny.
He's like I can't fucking act. I can only be myself.
I feel like if they're gonna put him in it, like I do think making the character kind of just like insane is kind of like the way to go, because when you have a character that doesn't really have like a ceiling or a cap on them, you know, like someone that has never acted before can just do whatever the fuck and like it's still in character, you know? So I feel like that kind of works. I just feel like I don't know if it was the script or if it's him. Maybe it's a little bit of both. But there's like some parts where I kind of was the delivery is just kind of like, I don't know, like it doesn't seem like real. And I feel like that only kind of comes from him, but that's because he's not an actor. Like, I don't know, but I do agree with you. I think the action is probably the best part of this. I'm trying to think, what is it missing? Like, what could, because I do feel like this could have, maybe it is the theatrical release, because like I gave this, I'm just gonna come out and say it, like I gave this a 2.5 out of 5, so I gave it like a 5-star out of 10. You know, like I put it like right down the middle mid, because like I enjoyed, you know, parts of it, but I also was like feeling the second half like a drag a lot, and I was just like, damn, bro, like I had a couple times where I had to just pause it and like get on my phone and take a break and then be like, all right, let's keep going.
Dude, I felt the same. I think I paused this thing like 1 or 2 or 3 times, bro. Because I had to go take a shit or like something. I was like, I need a break.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Maybe if I was in a theater, packed theater opening night, I think maybe it could have been more fun, because I think sometimes having the crowd, like if everybody was in, like, see, that's the thing, like people could be into it or people could be potentially not into it. I feel like if people were into it and people were like, you know, having a good time, like laughing at the jokes and like this like enjoying the action, I'd be like, oh shit, like at like certain parts, because there are some parts where when the hit happens you're like, oh shit. But so I can see like a lively opening night crowd making this feel more fun. So I feel like I could have potentially given this a 6 out of 10, or maybe a little even higher if it was better, because of the crowd. But I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if it was like released in theaters, maybe it would have had a better rating overall and stuff. Because I don't know, there's a lot of good actors in this. Daniela, is that her name? Daniela Melchior?
Yeah.
Ratcatcher 2, bro, from Suicide Squad. She's in this. She's like a nurse at the hospital, and at first she doesn't really like Jake Gyllenhaal because like he's just beating the shit out of people and bringing them over to the hospital, and she's like, oh, there's people that actually need help. And then they end up, you know, falling in love, whatever, and then she becomes like the bargaining chip at the end. They like capture her, and then it's so weird because her dad is a cop, and then Jake Gyllenhaal meets whatever the fucking gangsters on some boat with the dad. And he's supposed to bring money to like exchange for her life, but then she's just like in the boat, like in a room below deck. Like the dad wouldn't, dude. If I was the dad, I would have like went on there guns blazing and fucking like looking for my daughter, but he's just chilling.
There's also a part right after that where I don't even know where did Jake Gyllenhaal's character get the bomb at, because he explodes.
Dude,
that yacht.
I know.
It's just out of nowhere.
I thought. Like he gave the money to the people at the bookstore because like it got burned down. Yeah. And then he brings a bomb on the boat. Where did he get the bomb? It never explains where the fuck he was able to get a bomb. And it looked like a pretty big one, because like the bomb goes off. There's like a little Saving Private Ryan moment. He's like, everyone's ears is ringing. He's like, what the fuck? Dude, okay, there's actually a funny part. After the bomb goes off, Jake Gyllenhaal goes like, he walks down like below deck, and some guy like walks out from where the boat is, and he's on fire, and he's just like,
he still punches
like
him.
He's just screaming, and then he just punches him in the water. I'm like, fuck, bro. Jesus.
What I was gonna say is right after that happens, he goes looking for the daughter, the love interest, and when he does that, she, like you said, she's just in a room. She's not like tied up. There's like nothing. No one's even watching her, and you
can hear her. She's like, you can hear her screaming.
Yeah, she's actually trying to break the window to get out because the ship is starting to go down. But so I'm thinking like, oh damn, like what's gonna happen? Because I just assume she's locked in there, right? Because why would she not be if she's being held captive? But then Jake Gyllenhaal just opens the door, like he doesn't break it down, like nothing. He just opens it, and then I was like, wait, like what? Because I don't know, like what? There's no door that locks from the outside in, unless I guess they made it specifically that way, and or if it has a key or something. But like Jake Gyllenhaal doesn't like loot a key. He doesn't pick up a key from anybody. He just walks there and then just opens the door, and she's just there. So like I don't know. To me, that was kind of like a little like, wait, like why didn't she just walk out then? Like I don't know. Like it just felt a little.
I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering, but like the ship was sinking.
Yeah.
And so maybe because the water was pushing it. Because I remember him just busting the door down.
I remember him trying to, like, just opening it like a regular door.
Yeah, I don't know. The third act is really a fucking mess. But then a boat chase happens. Fucking Conor McGregor somehow pulls up. He's trying to run over Jake Gyllenhaal, and Jake's in the water with some other guy. And I like this part. Like,
oh yeah,
Conor McGregor like straight up is trying to run him over with the boat, and Jake uses this fucking random bodyguard as like a body shield. Fucking probably dies on impact.
Yeah, oh my god.
And then Jake gets on the boat with Conor, and he's like, oh look, it's our little octagon. And he's like, who taught you shapes? God, that was a pretty funny moment.
There are also like random parts like that one I'm fine with that because like. You know, Conor McGregor's character is kind of crazy, and like I can imagine him just like trying to taunt. But there's like one line I wish I remembered specifically where or what it was. I'll see if you remember what I'm talking about. There's a part like oh my god, I just remember what it was. It's mid fight. I think it's the first time that they fight, or maybe it's I don't know, because they fight once and Jake kind of gets fucked up and he's like, all right, I'm out. But the second time, and but wow. Yeah, that's basically what happens. But there's a part, I think it's during that time. There's a part where they're fighting, and it's kind of funny. Connor's like slamming Jake Gyllenhaal's head into like a piano, and it's like it's like making piano sounds. But then then they both just freeze, and then Jake's just like, oh, this piano sounds out of tune, and then Connor's like, oh, it sounds good to me, and then he like punches him again. I was like, what? This is like that was like so Looney Tunes, bro. Like
when I saw that, I was like, bro, they really probably shot that a couple times, and I was like, that made it into the final one, bro. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
That was bad.
There were a couple parts like that felt like that to me, where like I'm all for having like little funny like comebacks and responses and stuff. Especially when your character is like Conor McGregor, or even Jake Gyllenhaal's character is like he's kind of arrogant. It seems like because he's so sure of himself. So I'm fine with even him being kind of, like in the first fight before we see him fight, he kind of says like, oh, is there a hospital nearby? Like I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah,
like, I'm fine with that. But with that one, I was just like they deadass just paused in the middle of the fight to throw in like a little slapstick like I don't know. It felt like out of place to me, and there's a couple lines like that, but that's the one that I remember the most.
That's when I was like, all right, this fight is like kind of stupid, because like I don't know, if I was really fighting for my life, bro, I wouldn't have time to say stupid ass shit like that, and like the other person probably wouldn't like stop and let like, oh, what's this dude about to say? Like, yeah, I thought that part was stupid too. Yeah. I do like the fight in the beginning though, when he beats up like the bikers. He just like slaps the shit out of all of them.
I think that's the one I like the most, actually.
I know. He's like, oh, I just slapped you. I'm sorry. I thought that was funny. And then he actually drives them to the hospital. I thought that was funny. And when he's driving them, he's like, bump. And then they're oh.
I did see. I like at that point the movie felt like it felt fun. It felt good. Like I don't know, that point it was good. I'm trying to think when exactly does this start falling apart, because like that part I was enjoying myself. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was like, okay, like
Conor McGregor comes in.
This is Conor McGregor. You think
dude, because is he in Italy or something?
He's in Italy, yeah.
Dude, yeah. How the fuck does he get from Italy to the Florida Keys, bro? That has to at least be like a 10-hour. Like he had to have at least booked a flight. There's no way he's getting there by boat.
Did he get there by boat? I don't even remember. He just walks in. I don't
know. They just show him in Italy for no fucking reason. He jumps out of a window naked.
Yeah.
And then he just burns down a fucking market. And I'm like, what the fuck?
There's a part where he shows up to a house. I think it's not the first time, it's the second time, and like nobody's there because Jake's character came and just like killed somebody. He killed one of them, and they all just kind of dipped. Oh, and then every time Conor McGregor walks around, he's walking around with like his like arms up, like he's kind of like doing this like walk.
He's walking like a Roblox character or
He
something. Like,
is,
because
bro.
he's literally like flexing like a freaking.
He's like,
I don't know.
it's like when you like hard flex like every part of you, and then you try and keep it while walking. Like it looks,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you could tell he's like hard flexing while walking. So he walks in, it looks all weird. He's got like a walking animation from like an old video game, and then he looks around. The way he looks around is like all funny, and then he's just like, "Where the fuck is everyone?" And I was just like, "What?"
Jeez.
Oh god, dude, bro, it sucks because like I think this had potential to be like way better, bro. Like it could have.
Yeah, the director of this, his name is Doug Liman. He did American Made, which is a pretty good movie.
Okay.
I think he did one of the Born Identities.
He
Actually, I
did
think he
Edge
did
of Tomorrow.
yeah, Edge of Tomorrow. That's
Mr. and
that's
Mrs.
also a good
Smith.
movie. Yeah, so I was watching another reviewer. I think his name is like Jeremy something. He's a really famous reviewer.
Mhm.
He was saying this director sometimes has hit and misses, and he says he feels like the movie at some points has like hits and misses, like just like the director. Like there's highs and lows. Like there's points where it's like, all right, this is grounded, but it's not taking itself too seriously. But then there's other points where it's just like, all right, what the fuck? Like this does, like you said, it feels like a Looney Tunes thing. Like they're just slapping each other around and
someone
shit.
said fire the casting director.
Dude, McGregor being in this has to have coincided with them using the UFC fight.
Maybe.
Like it had to have, bro.
Yeah.
And then the final fight. So Jake Gyllenhaal, he gets back to the bar. They crash a boat into it, which I don't get how the main villain lives. Like he fucking just lands on the roof and then he's good. Like, I mean, I guess you could
I thought he was
that.
dead. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
that guy's done. But he's good after that, yeah.
Yeah, he ends up getting his neck snapped by
Yeah,
McGregor.
why did McGregor even kill him? That was, I guess he was
Yeah.
annoying, but it was just out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I was like, damn, okay.
I mean, he was being bitchy, bro. That's what I don't like about the villain, bro. Is
at that point though, like, yeah, but at that point though, what are they even fighting for anymore? Because that guy was the one who was gonna build the whole resort, and then McGregor just killed him. So at that point, like, what stakes does McGregor even have anymore? And now McGregor would, if anything, he's in trouble because that was his boss's son.
Yeah, and also, he just committed murder.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get how he fucking walks out of the hospital. There's an end credit scene. We'll talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, let's just talk about it right now.
Yeah.
There's an end credit scene. I didn't know. I just looked at it before we started recording this. But McGregor, at the end of the fight, pretty much Gyllenhaal fucks him up. He stabs him at least like 8 times with fucking broken pieces of wood, bro. And I swear to God, one of them was like right above his heart. So I was like, all right, dude, he's dead. He's cooked. And then, McGregor falls to the ground. You don't see him moving. I was like, all right, he's dead. But then there's an end credit scene. He fucking leaves the hospital. He just has the hospital gown on. The camera pans to his fucking cheeks again. And then he just walks out. He just walks out, bro. So he's still alive.
I think the problem is the script. I think the script needed
Absolutely.
I think it needed some more work because I like the cast besides McGregor. If I'm being honest, I think McGregor, like you said, it must have been some weird deal. They clearly were trying to pander to like a UFC audience because UFC fights are big. I actually do like that idea. I think that's a cool, interesting change. I actually think they should have leaned more into it.
It's a good angle.
Yeah. I would have leaned more into that for the remake. It makes it more modern. It kind of flips it on its head because in the original, since it was like in the 80s, I think the only thing is that I think his thing isn't that he's a UFC fighter. It's that he's like mastered martial arts and stuff. And there's another thing that they don't really say it, but in the original one, he has like he does have a friend, kind of like how Jake Gyllenhaal's character has a friend, but he killed his friend in the octagon. He has a friend in the first one. He's played by Sam Elliott. And
oh shit.
Yeah, Sam Elliott. Yeah. He's in the first one and he's like his mentor. So he shows up and he's just like, "Oh, what's up there, brother?" And then they have like duo fight scenes where they both fight off like these people. And he's supposed to be the guy that trained Patrick Swayze. And then the turning point in the movie is there's kind of like a Heath Ledger Joker situation where the guy's like, "Oh, I got your girl." He's like, "And I got your boy. Like, who you gonna save?" And then in the original, he actually is just like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna go get my boy, and he goes and sees his boy, and he's like, bro, he's like, you right? Let's get the fuck out of this town, bro. This shit is not worth the money. And he's like, all right, and then he like leaves to go. I think he goes to say bye to the girl or something because I think he thinks the guy was bluffing. So, because when he gets there, his friend is like completely alone. He's not even captured. So he's like, okay, like he was just trying to like scare me. But then when he gets back, his friend is killed. So then that's what pushes him to like be like, you know what, like I'm gonna go fucking kill this guy at this point. Like, which I'm like, oh shit, that makes sense. In this one, I kind of understand the stakes. Like you know, that girl and the family and that she getting burned down is kind of like he's like, all right, these guys are assholes. Like they didn't need to do that, you know, like that makes sense. I don't know, bro. I just feel like they could have leaned harder for the UFC. I think they could have
up the stakes.
Maybe a little bit. I don't know. Something.
I get what you're saying.
If it needs a couple more rewrites. I think the part that needs the most help is the second half of the film. I really think the first half is fine. I enjoy it. The first hour I was enjoying myself, and at some point after that it began to lose me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I get what you're saying with like the third act. And you know, just because like how he wants to help out that family with the burned down bookstore, just because it makes sense doesn't mean that it'll make sense for like other people, and it won't mean that like, oh, you know, do I actually even care about that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it could have used more stakes. I do like Jake Gyllenhaal's performance though. I feel like he never just like phones it in and gives a bad performance. Like I think he actually carries a lot of this movie.
Yeah, I think he's good actually.
Yeah, he is really good. But yeah, I don't know. I think it was just missing that little last like one or two more rewrites with just making the last act kind of all come together, because it is really messy with a lot of characters just kind of all being at one place.
There's also some parts that just look. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about this, but there were some fights that looked CGI, like the actual people were CGI, like the models. Maybe the movie just has that look over it, but there were clearly CGI models at some points.
Yeah,
but I'm talking like during a fight, like there's like
the big bar fights.
Yeah, like it looks like during a bar fight, like during a hand-to-hand fist fight. It looks like not every scene, because some of that is definitely like choreographed, but there are some parts like when they do a crazy move where I was like, whoa, like they looked kind of like they moved kind of weird there. Was that CGI? And like I didn't pause and like check, but I was like, oh, like they moved kind of weird. Like I don't know, I could be wrong, but like that was just one thing I thought may have potentially been a thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're already having doubts, like maybe
I don't know.
that already kind of speaks to it.
But yeah, Nick, what I think do you think we've talked enough about it? What do you got more to say? What do you think?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I think I don't know, Prime was I mean, they're still kind of one of my favorite like streaming services to go to, next to like Hulu and Disney, I guess. But it is weird how they have these movies that they clearly have the capital and the potential to like put out in theaters, which could make them, you know, even bigger and better than they are. But I guess it's just up to the filmmakers and the lead actors of, you know, whether they even want to do that. I do think if it was released in theaters, definitely a lot of UFC fans and people who are just, you know, want to have a good movie to go see that's, you know, stupid, nonsensical violence. I would have been there. I probably would have went with the boys to go see it. But
yeah, I probably would have gone to see this for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I think when you're watching it by yourself, you're kind of more just analytical and you're like, what the fuck am I watching? But in a theater, you're kind of just taking it as it comes and you're like, oh, this is awesome. You know, like it has that effect on you when you come right out the theater, like that you saw something pretty well worth your time. But
yeah, I think this would have benefited from a theater release for sure.
Absolutely. I hope that Amazon maybe changes. Let me see how much this movie made. I don't even know how they calculate how much money they make from a movie.
I mean, would you think anybody was like, "Oh shit, I need to see this. Let me sign up for Amazon Prime"?
Yeah, I don't think so. I just saw it because I have Prime, and I was like, oh, like, you know, I'll throw it on.
I think if people have it already, they'll be like, okay, like let's see what this is about. but I don't know how many people, like, what's the demographic of people out there that don't have it, and this is the decision maker, you know, like, it
Yeah.
can't be that many.
Yeah, and especially if it's like if you're trying to pander to UFC people, like you can't really watch UFC fights on Prime. Like that stuff is usually on like
Yeah, it's like pay-per-view.
yeah, pay-per-view or like maybe not ESPN,
The Zone.
but yeah, like DZN or whatever. Like those are like very specific places to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Um
I think UFC actually has their like own streaming service and pay-per-view thing. Like, it's directly through them as
yeah,
well.
yeah. Isn't the bar we didn't talk about this, but the Roadhouse is just called Roadhouse, right?
Yeah, this,
Is it called something different in the original or is it also Roadhouse?
I think it's also Roadhouse. I actually think
Is it?
I think so. I think because I remember one thing that also is kind of cool about the first one is there's like a little montage part
Let me see.
where after like a couple months of him being there, you see the place go from looking kind of run down to like they've kind of upgraded it, and they got like they're making more money. It's more nice there. They're upgrading the aesthetic of the place. So by the end, the bar looks like a different. It's the same interior, but it looks better.
Hmm. Okay, wait. So the bar in the original is called the Double Deuce.
Oh, is it? Okay.
That's it's kind of a nasty name. You're trying to go to the Double Deuce. Um, I mean, yeah. Besides that, it also feels weird that there's a roadhouse like just in the Florida Keys, because like, isn't like a
Yeah.
roadhouse supposed to be like a truck stop, like bar,
Yeah.
like a place to stay kind of thing? It seems more like a touristy attraction here. Like it's right on the beach. Like you can maybe even say it was shot in LA, like for sure.
Like, right, it is called the Double Deuce.
Yeah, I don't know. I do like how the sprinkled out there's like little bits of like bouncer culture. Like he's kind of teaching I think this one guy's name is Billy. He's like a bouncer there. Jake kind of teaches him how to like fight and you see them like get into a fight, which is really cool. They hire like another bouncer. Like I like that kind of passing of the torch, once he leaves at the end of the movie that, they kind of got the bar from here.
Yeah.
There's also one part, like I think after the whole bar gets destroyed and like all the people are trying to fix it up, like that morning, they're like, oh yeah, this is fixable. Like somebody comes into the bar and it's just like, are y'all open? And I'm like, and I was expecting her to be like, no, and he was gonna be like, oh, we wanted to help you clean up, but she just says like, oh yeah, we're always open, and I'm like, and that's all. That's the rest that we see from all the people at the Roadhouse.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
I mean, if I would have walked in the fuck, I mean,
yeah, if
who's
there's a
going to
fucking there's a truck in the fucking in the
there's
bar,
a truck,
dude.
like the truck is blocking the front entrance. The doors have
Yes.
been like ran over. There's a boat just randomly upside down, like like on the
Jesus.
dance floor. There's no way I'd be like, "Are y'all open?" I'd be like, "Holy shit! Like, are y'all good? What the fuck happened?" Now that would be my the first thing I
Yeah,
would say.
I'd be like, is everyone okay?
Jesus,
Jeez.
man.
Dude, there's a crocodile in this too.
Oh
Some
yeah, the
dude gets
crocodile
eaten by
eats
a
someone.
crocodile.
Yeah.
I uh I was glad that they talked about like a crocodile being in the water and it wasn't just some like bullshit that doesn't get brought up later. Like somebody actually gets eaten by a crocodile,
Mhm. Yeah.
and it was funny because like Jake I think actually tries to help the dude out of the water. He's like, I got you, and then like you just see the water start turning red, and then the guy just fucking dies. Like
God,
I
man.
was like, fuck. I mean, to be fair, he came to his house to kill him,
Yeah,
so
he had a
like
gun on him just like a minute before.
yeah. I think Jake did the right thing. I think the police came and he just told him everything. But dude, I don't know what I would do in that situation. If someone tried to like break into my house and then like they throw him in the water and the crocodile gets him, I don't know if I would just be like, all right, I'm gonna move on with my day.
One thing that I will say is a little different before we wrap it up is in this one, and this is like the main, I guess, maybe criticism I had of the first one, if you can call it that. But at the same time, I kind of realized that every movie kind of has like its set of laws or like it's like set of rules that this world, there's not a lot of movies, even ones that are grounded, they have little things that are like, okay, in this world people kind of react this way to things, where like in real life, it would be more like this. And in the first one, I swear to God, I don't see a single police officer in that city. Like in that world, it's just like Gotham City for some reason, bro. Like there's no cops, there's nothing in that original one. There's just no one calls the cops. Like there's nothing. The only like the only law in this town are the bouncers at this place, bro.
I'm the law around here.
No, like it actually is like that. Whereas in this one, there are cops, but I guess like the sheriff, they're dirty, or they're like, some of them are on payroll. There's one line near the end where they say like oh no, like they sent cops that weren't ours, like, or something like that. So like I guess that implies that some of them are, but some of them aren't. I don't know. I just feel weird. Like, yeah, anyway, that's just one thing, the one difference as well. But anyway, I'm giving this film a 2.5 out of 5. It's about a 5 out of 10 for me.
I gave it a 3 out of 5. I think originally I gave it a 3.5, but honestly, speaking on all this shit,
Nick gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
No, dude. Yeah, I gave it the full Marty Scorsese 5-star.
Cinema.
No, yeah, I think I would have definitely liked this better if I was in the theater, you know, laughing with people, like, you know, cheering on when the fight goes on and stuff. Mm-hmm. I have no idea how McGregor fucking survived, bro. Like, he literally got shanked in all his vital organs. And bro, I don't know if that was in his contract. He's just like, yeah, you can kill me at the end, but I gotta stay. You know, I come back. Like, he has that rock level contract.
Wait, doesn't he have a line in here where he says, "I always come back" or something like that? Doesn't he say that at one time?
Dude, if he does, that's.
I think he says that like at one point. I don't remember when, but I swear to God, someone said, "I always come back." I could have sworn that someone said that.
Jeez.
Hey, bro, you ready for Roadhouse 2? McGregor's back.
I don't know. I can get how some people maybe who saw the original like grew up with it and they're like, oh, they're ruining something I love, but I don't know. I'm completely unbiased. I'd never seen the OG one. This movie's pretty fun. I think it's definitely something you throw on with your friends. You know, a couple of brewskis. But, you know, just by itself, it is a pretty. It's got some weak points, some hits and misses. So I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5.
Okay.
Maybe even lower, honestly. That's on a good day, a 3 out of 5.
Damn, Nick. All right. Well, right. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's the Roadhouse review. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Follow Cosmic Kickback on Instagram, on Twitter/X, Reddit. We got a Discord.
Bro, Threads.
Oh, dude, I don't even use Threads, bro. I feel like it's just another social media thing people are using, and I'm just like, I'm over it.
Hey, we're on there.
Yeah, we're on there. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be like that. Follow us on Threads. Follow us on Threads, man.
I think our letterboxes are down there as well.
Yeah, our letterboxes. And then if you guys, you know, want to watch our films, maybe we'll tweet it out, or we'll post it on Instagram. But you guys can check the description, and I can put the link so you can watch our works there. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Goodbye.